All right. Welcome back, listeners, and welcome to The Starting Grid, the podcast where we discuss Formula One race reviews and news and media and information from the week. I'm your host, Malik Durajaye, and with me, as always,
it's Calvin.
Calvin's
Welcome.
here. All right. So the Canadian Grand Prix is what we're here to talk about. Grand Prix weekend. How'd you feel about the overall weekend?
It was an exciting race. Definitely glad to get back into watching some Formula One, and especially with all the drama that's happening. It was exciting.
Yeah, it was a little, most of the post race stuff is where all the drama came in. So,
Yeah, it's like you got two shows, like the race itself and then what happened after.
Yeah, exactly. The overall weekend for me, well, I kind of missed the overall weekend because I was busy in SoCal handling some other things, but I did manage to catch most of qualifying. And then I caught, as far as the race, I only caught everything past lap 19. So,
shame, man. It's a shame.
and I went back and watched some highlights from the beginning. I mean, I don't think, nothing much happened. It wasn't a big deal. So
Yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah,
you can get a lot from the highlights.
Yeah, I caught all the important parts. So let's get into the weekend, I guess. Start off with practice, which I missed. So
Yeah.
I've got not much to say about it.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, man. All right, well, let's at least talk about the results.
Yeah, let's go through it. I know a couple people crashed.
Yeah, we had, who crashed first? FP2, somewhere in FP2?
Yeah, there was a crash in FP2. That, I think, was Hamilton.
Oh, yeah, Hamilton's first. Yeah, I saw a little news or clip of that.
Yeah.
That's rare for him, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
You expect it to happen at least once, but so I guess this is one time. But
Was it the Wall of Champions where?
I think so. Oh, man. Calvin, you bumping into the table, causing all kinds of noises.
No. Yeah, causing a bunch of havoc.
Yeah, I think it was. It was the Wall of Champions.
A couple people hit that wall this weekend.
Yeah, well, it's not called the Wall of Champions for no reason.
No.
You will get got no matter who you are. Hamilton is not immune to the Wall of Champions. That means he's champion this year. That's
man.
technically that's what it's.
Wow.
That's a premonition.
Well, I mean, if things keep going his way like they have been.
Yeah, I think it's
so.
I think it's a wrap. I think it's.
Yeah, he's only ahead by 30. Well, he's only ahead over Bottas by 30 points, but.
I was talking with my brother about this over the weekend, actually, at dinner. At my niece's graduation dinner, he brought up Formula One racing, and he asked me about the rivalry between Bottas and Hamilton, and whether or not I think that Bottas will, it'll still be a fight to the end. And here's my thoughts on it. Bottas is doing solid this year. He's doing way more amazing than he did the previous seasons, right?
Oh yeah,
he's doing about as good as Vettel was doing last season at the beginning half of the season.
I think I know where you're going with this.
So I'm not saying that Bottas will fall apart, but what I'm saying is Hamilton is known to be stronger at the second half of the season. It's known that his best part of the season is the back half of the races. So for them to be neck and neck now is you almost, in order to beat Hamilton, you have to build a big enough gap in the beginning and hold them off as much as possible in the end.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, because they're neck and neck, I think as soon as Hamilton kind of turns on, I think he's gonna just run away with it. I think it'll be his.
Okay.
I mean, there's a 30% chance that Bottas will be able to
Well, do you think he's gonna be able to keep the momentum going and do as well as he has been, or is he gonna fall off like Vettel did last year?
I think he'll be able to hold his momentum, but I think it just won't be enough to basically beat Hamilton.
Yeah.
Hamilton will get better.
No more
and
first and
Bottas
second
will
places. Just
he'll
doing well.
Bottas will just be coming in second, third, first. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But Hamilton will be taking the majority of those wins. Yeah. And I feel I don't think he's gonna fall apart because I don't think he historically has fallen apart. I think he's usually been pretty.
Yeah, he's always consistent.
Yeah, consistently wherever he's at,
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, he doesn't have that fall apart game like Vettel does.
Malik's hot take.
Yeah. Anyways, back on practices.
And then I know there was a crash in P3, but can't for the life of me remember who crashed.
Sorry, get your news elsewhere, people. No, I'm just kidding. No, we missed the practices. So
Yeah.
But looking at the results from like FP1, it was basically it was a Mercedes 1-2, followed by Leclerc, Verstappen splitting the Ferraris, and then Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen in sixth. And then FP2, we had Ferrari taking the 1-2, and not by too big. They were about a tenth ahead of Bottas. Is that where Hamilton? No, Hamilton didn't crash. He crashed in qualifying, right? Or was that?
I think it was FP2.
It was the FP2 one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the Friday.
Yeah. Oh, it was Magnussen crashing in qualifying.
Yeah,
right?
in qualifying.
So guess that's where Hamilton took his crash, but still managed to have sixth place on lock. And then we had Magnussen in fifth, but it was basically Ferrari 1-2. And then on FP3, another Ferrari 1-2. And this time they were 2/10. Actually, Vettel put in a time that was 3/10, almost 4/10 ahead of Hamilton, which was solid in showing what their pace would be for the weekend.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for practice. Do you have any other notes?
I know that some of the Mercedes engine, they get their engines from Mercedes. Mm-hmm. Those other teams, no, they were having troubles with their engines. I know during one of the practices, Racing Point actually had an engine blow, and they were going off the new spec.
No.
So they actually had to put the old spec engine in, which I guess is a little slower, a lot less power. But that's kind of worrying for Mercedes going forward, and whether their reliability is going to be there on their engines. I don't know. From what
I think they have enough money. If they had a reliability problem, they'll fix it in like one race weekend. You call it again. Remember, they blew their engines in Austria, both of them, last year. And did that change the outcome of their season?
No, but those were. I think they had probably used those engines for a couple of races.
Yeah, probably.
But not a brand new one right out of the box for Racing Point. So I don't know. Total Wolf was a little concerned about it. He had a little bit to say. They want to examine what happened, obviously, analyze the data, and go from there. But
it's Racing Point sabotage.
He's definitely a little concerned. So I think, other than that, that was the most to come out of practice.
Okay. So shall we talk about qualifying?
Yeah, let's get into qualifying because it's actually a pretty interesting session. What happened? Obviously, you had Kevin Magnussen hitting the wall there, and what was it, Q2?
Yep.
And so he hit it right at the end of Q2.
And that will come into play in the race as well.
Yeah. Well, it ruined Verstappen's. He ruined a couple people's qualifying chances.
Oh, that's right.
Making it into Q3.
Because for the first time, we saw Pierre Gasly out-qualify Max Verstappen. I wish I could do a soundbite of an explosion, but I'm not there yet. So I'm going to just go...
There you go. Perfect. I'm sure it sounded great.
I'm sure.
So Red Bull was actually trying to qualify Max on the yellow striped medium tire to start the race off. And then obviously their pace just wasn't there. So they, at the end of the Q2, they switched him out to the softs to get him in the Q3, which I saw a couple teams qualified on the mediums. Yeah. I think Mercedes did. And I don't know about Ferrari. But, they realized they weren't going to do it on the medium, so they switched them out to the reds, and then Magnussen hitting the wall, red flag the session. I think Verstappen was right behind him.
Yeah. He had the swerve to miss him.
Yeah.
So it did ruin him and everyone else that was on that lap. Yeah. I think Grosjean as well had his lap.
Lucked out for, I think Ricciardo made it in the Q3, first time this year. So... yeah, Magnussen hitting the wall ruined the day for a couple of the drivers. But like I was saying, Ricciardo pulled it off there, made it in the Q3.
That was
shocking.
awesome. I was happy to see that.
So I'm sure everyone in both him and Hulkenberg made it in the Q3. Everyone at Renault is probably super excited that
And he qualified fourth place.
their engine actually has a little bit of power, but obviously their race pace was a little bit off their qualifying pace. But
and he was up in fourth place, but Magnussen's crash kind of changed things up for the outcome.
A little bit of luck there involved, but
it's still good to have that feel good fourth place position, So, and they converted that into a solid finishing position in the race.
Yeah, they did actually really well.
So we had Vettel up top, 2/10 ahead of Hamilton. Then behind Hamilton was Leclerc, Ricciardo, Gasly, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Norris, Sainz, Magnussen, Verstappen, Kvyat, Giovinazzi, Alexander Albon, Grosjean, Perez, Raikkonen, Stroll, Russell, and as usual, in last place, qualifying dead last, Robert Kubica, a whole 1 second, almost a second behind, about 7 to 8 tenths off of his teammates' pace.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, I actually have a story on Kubica complaining about the Williams. He says it's not him. It's an impossible car to drive.
He just said that.
Yeah. So
I wonder what Russell has to say about that.
He's saying, I'm fighting to stay on the track. It puts me in a difficult situation when the car starts to slide. Like it's just that impossible to drive. So
I wonder what Russell has to say about.
I don't know. Russell seems to be staying on the track and putting in a little bit better time than him.
Here's the thing.
I mean, a crappy car is a crappy car, though.
It probably is. But if you're a team manager, right, you got 2 drivers. You're looking for feedback from the drivers as far as to develop the car, right? And I'm sure they're getting a lot of solid feedback from Kubica because he's an experienced race car driver. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure his experience is or his feedback is, top notch or whatever. Maybe not top notch, but I'm sure it's better than Russell's.
Yeah, there's value
feedback
there.
But if you're a team manager and you got one driver complaining that your car is, crap, and you got the other driver that's just quiet, gets his head down, does the best he can in the car, and is putting solid times in over his teammate, to me, I'd be telling Kubica, look, hush.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just drive the car.
I'd be using Gunther Steiner's words to Magnussen during the race.
Oh yeah,
it's we all know that it's a problem. We all were working super hard, so enough is enough.
Yeah.
That's what I would be saying. Chill out, man, chill out.
Yeah. Someone needs to have a talk with him.
Yeah. So,
but that's interesting. Is Williams? They have Mercedes engines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, possibly Ocon, maybe.
Oh yeah, coming in
up there. Yeah, I know.
It
Ocon
wouldn't be the best seat for him to have, but
no, it would not. But I mean, at least it's somewhere for him to end up. I know Toto really loves Ocon, and he's doing a lot of valuable work for them at Mercedes, doing a lot of simulation driving.
Yeah, he is, and he's all over social media stuff too. Him and Esteban Gutierrez. Do you remember that guy?
Oh yeah,
yeah. He was racing for Haas before Magnussen came in and took his seat, but he's doing a lot of work for Mercedes too. So
yeah, it looks like
I guess that's why Gutierrez leave Haas because Gutierrez must be new to the Mercedes family because he couldn't have been a Mercedes driver in a Haas Ferrari.
Yeah,
that's just not.
Yeah, he maybe left Haas and went signed with Mercedes
Ferrari Academy or whatever.
Yeah, but it looked like Ocon put in about 300 miles or laps, not miles. In Montreal.
Nice.
So he's definitely putting in time, giving him feedback. Instead of just focused on actually driving this, doing the simulator driving and giving Mercedes their feedback. He says he's not worried about his future driving spot. He knows he's going to end up somewhere.
That's good to hear because you want to see him back, and it's nice to see when someone just bunkers down, doesn't complain, and does what they need to do and leaves it in the hands of a higher being to his fate, right? He's just doing everything he possibly can, in a way, He's a lot, like, you know, you can compare that to Hamilton. Hamilton is always in the right place at the right time because he doesn't concern. If he makes a mistake, he's not concerned about it. He's just going to do the best he can. And so when someone else makes a mistake or when a position opens up, Hamilton's right there ready to pounce on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's setting him up. He's definitely going to be a more complete driver when, or more experienced driver, I guess, with all these, all the behind the scene work he's putting in.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to make him a better driver.
So, all right. Yeah, that was qualifying. I think the biggest news from like really over the whole weekend, but from qualifying was Vettel getting his first podium, and I think it was 14 or 17 races.
Well, Vettel's been on the podium.
Podium, sorry.
First
pole position.
Yeah.
In 14 or 17.
I think it was closer to 17. Yeah, since Belgium, 2018.
Is that what it was?
That's what I believe.
Yeah, so that was obviously he was super excited, and that just set the stage for him to get a super big disappointment at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Which we're going to get
momentum
into.
going into the race.
I have a lot of comments about that. Well, not a lot, but I have a solid comment about that. And don't worry, my Mercedes Hamilton fanboy is not going to come out. All right, just relax.
I thought I knew for sure where you were going to be on this side of the argument.
Relax. I mean, you're not totally off, but just we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, so
yeah,
moving on from qualifying. Do you have anything else from qualifying?
Oh, that's it from qualifying. Let's get into the race.
All right, let's jump into the race.
The excitement.
I missed the first 20 laps or so. Kind of jumped in. I was actually traveling on the road, so by the time I jumped in and got some service and was fighting with the F1 TV app, I finally got in at about lap 20, and it seemed to be pretty interesting because at that point I came in right on Hamilton had a 50-50 shot of getting ahead of Vettel on a pit stop, and then he took an extra lap for whatever reason.
And then lost that.
And that shot, that percent, I remember them saying that percentage went down to 8%. So that's right around when I came in, which actually, if I look at the pit summary or something, that pit summary, that would have been lap 28. So I missed the first 27 laps of the race.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty much almost half the race.
I think you jumped in at probably the most exciting part. Only before that, what was it, Norris? Norris had a suspension problem or a brake problem.
Yeah, they said it was his. It was the visor, the peel-offs.
Oh, okay.
The visor, so now they have all the peel-offs when it gets dirty.
They figured out what happened?
Well, yeah. I read somewhere that when he threw that, they usually just throw it off. Mm-hmm. But he threw it off and it went right into his brake duct.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it blocked that airflow in there, and so it caused his brakes to overheat, and he melted his suspension off or something like that.
Wow.
Is what I read. I was like, dang.
That's crazy.
Super hot.
Yeah. They get up to thousands of degrees, right?
Yeah. So that seems to be the case with him. It's just unlucky. I know that happened last year, I think, with Kimi Räikkönen. I think it was Kimi Räikkönen, but it might have been someone else. But I know that the visor cover has caused problems in the past. Mm-hmm. But what else? I mean, what else can they do?
I'm always shocked that those don't cause more problems because, they try to throw them off to the side, but how do they not go into the air ducts? There's two big air pods on the side. Right above them.
Intake right above or behind them or whatever. I don't know. I feel like, I guess I would say that you can just toss it down into your cockpit with you, but you don't want it impeding your brake pedal. You don't want the last thing you want is it getting get that thin film getting between your foot and the brake pedal, your foot and the gas pedal.
Yeah, it totally threw you off.
That would be even more damaging than a brake melting, right? Even more dangerous because if your foot slips off the brakes while you're trying to come from 200 miles an hour down,
not good.
Yeah, not good at all. So, anyways, that was his issue, and I think the only other thing that happened in the beginning was it Kvyat that lost a front wing? No, it was Albon. Alexander Albon, who got squeezed.
Yeah. Well, that was just really bad luck.
Like in the very first lap, actually, opening lap, because he pivoted in lap 1.
That kind of ruined his race for the rest of the race. He put him in a bad position, and I think he ended up retiring with like 10 laps ago or something like that.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too, because
they were way down.
He was on lap 59 when he retired, so yeah, 11 laps off. But you might as well finish. I mean, it's 11 laps.
Yeah, second to last,
or just get out of the way.
Being lapped on your third lap, I think.
Yeah, you're just giving Kubica more reason to think that he's getting up the order. So,
yeah,
I'm sorry, Kubica. I apologize.
And then what else happened in the beginning of the race?
Well, I know that Verstappen probably did a whole lot in the beginning of the race, because by the time I saw him at lap 28, he was already back up in the front and back. So I'm like, he must have made
was fifth or sixth.
Hella overtakes.
Yeah, he was doing really good. I think he started in 9th place after all the grid penalties.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had a really good race, especially starting from back a little bit. It looked pretty good after his pit stop. It looked like he had a pretty good chance to overtake. I think Ricardo hadn't pitted yet. He was looking like he was in pretty good position. Maybe it was Gasly. I think it was Gasly. He had a pretty good chance of overtaking him, but I don't think it really worked out.
Yeah, I know that. I saw Ricardo defending pretty well on Bottas. That was pretty interesting or entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Verstappen did finish higher than Gasly.
Yeah, Verstappen finished in 5th.
Yeah.
And then Ricardo was right behind him. So he got ahead of Pierre Gasly for sure at some point.
Yeah, and then Hamilton and Vettel were going back and forth most of the race.
Yeah, we should get into that now, because when I came in, Hamilton was chasing. He was about just under 3 seconds behind Vettel, and within the next couple of laps, he had dropped that time from 3 seconds to under 2 seconds, and I was like, oh yeah, here we go, it's hammer time, right? I was like, oh yeah, here it comes, like, because it seemed like they were saying that he was just like, it was Vettel's race to run away with, and then all of a sudden the time literally dropped by a second, another second, just kept happening fast.
Yeah, I think it was a lot to do with them going back and forth between engine modes, trying to save fuel. I know that this track was a little heavier on the fuel consumption, and then be cutting it close. So, I mean, you turn up the engine, you're going to burn more fuel, and then you got to turn it back down. And maybe I feel like they were just doing it at opposite times. Yeah, Hamilton was putting in really good times.
Yeah, Hamilton
catching
was,
up. But
I mean, you don't see that happen in any of the race where they're just dropping. I mean, that time dropped drastically.
Yeah, they were going back and forth. Sometimes he would catch up, but then Vettel would start to pull back away. So I think there was a good balancing act between them two. And then, obviously, at one point he did get close enough.
He got close enough, and Vettel does what he does best.
Caused him to lose focus.
Vettel pulls Vettel and just succumbs to the pressure. And I knew that was going to happen. I was literally watching, and I was like, all you have to do really for Vettel, really, you got to be the right driver. I guess you have to be a driver that's going to scare him like Hamilton or Verstappen. Unfortunately, Verstappen scares everybody. When he's in your rear view, you're like, oh, dang, like, what am I going to do? So,
you got to be. I feel for Vettel. You have to be on your toes. Hamilton's going to be coming up on you. Yeah,
but any other driver, he probably would have. He probably could have kept his cool with any other driver, but Hamilton knows how to put the pressure on Vettel. Hamilton gets under Vettel's skin for sure. Yeah, even though they're cordial with one another, and they definitely show a lot of respect between one another. They're rivals. That's like, absolutely, 100%. That's the rival of the past decade now, since 2008 when Hamilton, or 2007 when Hamilton came in, and it's all Hamilton Vettel. That's his number one rival. So like, he definitely gets under his skin more than Vettel gets under Hamilton's skin. Yeah. So, and I don't really know. I wasn't watching when Vettel was dominating in the Red Bull years, so I don't know where Hamilton was.
Yeah,
at that time.
Hamilton did come in real hot. Like he was putting in really solid races. I think there was a couple of podiums his first year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when he first got in, but wasn't the Red Bull dominance years was a little bit after?
I think it was
Same time?
Yeah, 2008
Okay.
through there. I think 2008 is when they won.
So I don't know if Hamilton
won the
succumbed to any pressure from Vettel then. It'd be nice to check it out and see. I might look into it, but yeah. So Hamilton came close. He was within a second for a few laps, and had DRS and all that, and then forced Vettel into an error.
Yeah, was he braking too late or braking too late, turning too early, caused them to lose the rear end a little bit?
I think what actually happened is because what we saw though was that the Ferraris weren't doing well following another car, which is interesting because I think this whole season has been about the cars are this easier to follow other cars. But I think Ferrari, or at least on this track, they were saying that when you're following another car, the brakes were overheating. That's why Hamilton kept popping out from behind Vettel at times on the straightaways, just to get some cool air when he was really close. And I think because when Vettel made that mistake, he was behind a race. He was coming up on some back markers. I'm not sure who. And I think because of that, his brakes might have been a little hotter than usual. Okay. So they weren't working optimally, and he just misjudged his braking point. Lost the back end a little bit going into the turn, which caused him to oversteer. And then when he corrected it, he went into the grass and across the corner.
Yeah.
And then back onto the track.
So, I mean, that...
And
he got a penalty for it.
He got a penalty. Well, he got a penalty for an unsafe re-entry.
Which...
You tell me your thoughts. I'll tell you mine. You go first. Because I'm the Hamilton fan, so you go first.
I mean, he really didn't have a choice in that case. I mean, once you lose the back end like that, you're not going to be able to keep it on the track. You're going to bail out a little bit. And then him coming right back onto the track, that was pretty much the only move he had other than going into the wall.
Yeah, because it was tight walls on both sides.
I don't know. I don't agree with the 5-second penalty. That should have just been a racing incident. I mean, if it was a wide open track and there was no wall there on his left, he probably,
Hamilton would have passed him.
Yeah, Hamilton would have passed him anyway.
So,
but
if it was a different track and that same thing happened with no wall, Hamilton would have passed him.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, what do you want him to do? You can't slam on the brakes. I don't know. You got to control the car.
Holding my tongue right now. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, let's hear it. I think you're going to go the opposite direction with this one.
Actually, I'm pretty much on the same page.
Okay.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go. There was I don't think he deserved the 5-second penalty, to be honest.
Okay,
I don't.
Perfect.
Because, I mean, literally, it was just a tight track. What else was he supposed to do? Now, you could argue that it doesn't matter that he didn't have another choice. He still made the mistake, which caused him to have an unsafe re-entry. So you could argue that could deserve a penalty, but I think for me, when it comes down to...
I feel like him spinning out, going into the grass, losing time there, like that is the penalty right there.
You have to include the impeding and running Hamilton into the wall part. I mean, even though he didn't have a choice, it wasn't like it's not a choice, right? Penalties don't always come based off of your choice. Like just because you choose to cut a corner, okay, you get a penalty. But sometimes penalties come from and don't get me wrong here. I'm not arguing that he deserved the penalty. I don't think he deserved the penalty. I'm saying penalties are also given when you make a mistake that causes you to do something that you shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And there's rules for those penalties, So if that's the case, I could see someone at the FIA, I could see those guys arguing that because he made the mistake on the lockup or however that incident happened, where we went across the grass, due to his mistake, he almost ran another driver into the wall. So I can see how they would call that a penalty, but I don't believe he deserves a penalty because I feel like
I feel like that argument's a little bit of a stretch.
Well, I don't know because
penalties are meant for people who break the rules or intentionally.
Well, but it's unintentional and intentional. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying is there's intentional penalties. There's penalties for things that you do intentionally, Then there's things that are not just. All right, if you misjudge your braking and you hit another car, you didn't intend to hit another car. You misjudge your brakes and you hit another car. That was not but they're giving you a penalty for contact.
I feel like it would definitely be a penalty if they touched, or if there was another option. It's like this was the only option that didn't result in a crash. And then
but if you misjudge your braking zone and then you have the choice to go left or right, whatever you choose, it doesn't. I just feel like
I feel like the only choice was crash or try to recover the car.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he doesn't deserve the penalty.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I can see FIA making that argument, but also the other thing looming in my head is why he doesn't deserve the penalty is because Hamilton's already winning by I just feel like they should have just be like, all right, we'll let him have this. We'll let this one slide because it's just to make it more interesting because
they're setting up.
It's already a Mercedes dominance, so it's like, don't give the man a penalty. Come on, I guess rules are rules and things like that sometimes, but this was a gray area one, and I feel like if it's a gray area,
definitely a gray area.
If it's a gray area and Mercedes and Ferrari were neck and neck, Vettel and Hamilton were neck and neck, I get it. You got to go with the more harsh option because you don't want to give someone something for free. You don't want someone to make a mistake and then not penalize them. So you do want to lean more to the penalty because you don't want people doing it. But if it was a gray area and that was the case, but it's a gray area and Mercedes and Hamilton are so far ahead that the 7 points ultimately, Vettel's not going to make up that 7 points by the end of the season.
No, he's going to need to win a lot more races to make that up. So
I feel like that kind of gray area, just let it slide.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely shouldn't have been a penalty.
I don't know about definite, but and then also I did try, my Hamilton fanboy did come out a little bit, and I was trying to
that second place, first place.
Well, no, I was trying to see. I was really looking. I think that this is gonna sound crazy. This is very.
Oh man, here's another hot take from Malik.
This is very conspiracy theory, kind of. Maybe not conspiracy theory, but
no, I want to hear this. This is great.
There's such a thing as a controlling the uncontrolled, right? I feel like if I was a driver and I knew I just cut the corner and I knew the racing line was to the outside and that's where Hamilton was going to go, if I had to guess that, I could theoretically, subconsciously or consciously, control an uncontrollable car into that direction versus trying sooner to turn sooner and get on and stay out of it, instead of, because it seemed like he kind of just did slide over there and he caught it perfectly in time to stay right there. And I feel like
this is definitely conspiracy theory territory here.
But after looking at the top down view,
they kind of broke down his steering angle and
and I was just like, well, it would be, to me, it would be like a millisecond decision to do that, and you'd have to be very good. And I'm like, well, technically, these guys are controlling the fastest cars in the world. They are good at making split-second decisions, but I thought about that for a while, and I wrote it off as that's a very zero chance.
Tinfoil hat territory.
Yeah, tinfoil hat territory. I was like, Vettel knew what he was doing, but hey, if he's smart, then that's what I would do if I was in that situation. I would technically I had to control it, but it's not a thought. It's not a conscious thought. It's more like you're just subconscious. That's where I need to be. Yeah. I need not for him not to get around me while I'm lost control of his car.
Well, good point or good theory, but I think he did the only thing he could to keep from causing a crash.
The real question is, do you think Hamilton would have passed him if he didn't make the mistake at all? If that never happened?
So that was actually what I was going down to. or my next point would be, I don't know. I think it would have been real close. They were definitely, I don't know. There's so many factors come into it. He definitely started to have the pace on him, but then again, we don't know what engine mode they were going in. Were they 100% defending, or were they trying to like let him creep up and then
you don't
kick on the engine?
You do not let Hamilton creep up on you, bro.
Yeah, especially in that DRS zone.
You do not let Hamilton. Yeah. That's the last person you want to. Yeah, let him. It's fine. Like let him get. No, you don't let Hamilton get close.
Mercedes wasn't doing very well following behind them. I mean, he had to do a lot to cool down the car. So
yeah, they said that. They say he attacked for a while and then he backed off, which I thought was smart because he backed off with about 15 laps to go or something. So I think he backed off for 5 laps in order to like get back into the zone he needs to be in, and he attacked again. So that's why I feel like
he was definitely making up the pace. But I mean, it would be very hard for him to pass Hamilton, especially
Vettel. You mean?
Yeah, with Vettel defending so well.
See,
so, I don't know. It would have been great to see. I definitely feel like after the penalty came down, he definitely backed off. So
yeah,
you saw him trying to creep up there, but I don't think he was gonna try to pass him. That if he would have passed him, then I don't think the penalty would have been as big of a deal.
No, it wouldn't have been. If he was able to pass him, then he would have impeded him, in which case there wouldn't have been an unsafe re-entry. So it wouldn't have been a penalty.
No, I'm saying after the incident. And what, there's 20 laps left?
I think if he tried to pass him, Vettel would have sideswiped him.
Oh, you think so?
He's done it before.
I don't know.
He did it at Azerbaijan last year when we thought Hamilton brake checked him. Sideswiped. So I mean,
we've all been on the road when someone's cut us off or whatever.
I think that Vettel has it in him to. He was heated. He was
heated in the moment,
and rightly so. He was pissed. Yeah. I mean, I was pissed for him. I was like, that's crap.
That was a little bit of a cheap move there.
I was like, wow, they gave him a 5-second penalty. I would be heated. I was heated for him. I was like, that's not right. My immediate reaction was, that's not right.
Yeah.
So
this was a interesting race with all the I guess controversies happening on the side. Like the sideshow was almost just as interesting as the actual race itself.
Yeah, the after race shenanigans. Which before we get there though, I just say as far as Hamilton.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna?
Do I think he would have passed him?
I mean, absolutely. You think he would have passed him?
Here's the thing: it's hard to say because every time Vettel was in front of Hamilton, my first thought, and this is what's very much standard, Hamilton forces Vettel into an error. So I think he would have forced him into an error in a different place. If he didn't make the error, then Vettel would have made an error at a different spot because that's like almost 90% of the time when Hamilton's attacking Vettel, that's what happens. Yeah. Vettel makes an error. Like lately over the past year, this is usually what happens, right? And so because it was clear to me that Vettel was struggling to defend against Hamilton's pace at the end there for some reason, I think that and Hamilton made a couple of mistakes. He did. He went wide into the hairpin and things like that. He locked up once, I think.
Yeah.
But he was still able to put the pressure on it. I mean, I think with like 15 laps, or it was like 11 laps at that point. I think with 11 laps left, I mean, I personally think that, I don't know if he would have passed him or not is what I'm getting at. But I think that it would have not been an easy walk away. I think he would have definitely attacked at least 2 more times.
Yeah.
And I think Vettel would have for sure made a mistake. Now, whether or not it would have been a mistake that Hamilton was able to capitalize on or not is the question.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it would have been a much more interesting race for the viewer as far as purely racing aspect went, is if the penalty didn't happen and they actually
tried again. Well, I don't think you see. I think after that.
Nah, he was definitely, especially after they got the.
I think after that incident where he had to like slam on his brakes, I think he was done after that. I don't think he was. I don't know if he coasted.
Hamilton?
Do you think he would? You think he was coasting behind him? Like, not?
Oh no, no, because the penalty came down, and then they had like 15 laps left, and he was able to come back and get within 1 second, 1 or 2 seconds of.
He never dropped off that far back though. He dropped off at most. Not even. He never hit 3 seconds behind. So
yeah. So I mean, there was plenty of time for him to to come back and attack.
Okay.
I think he definitely held off once he knew he had the
Yeah, I mean, that's
the time penalty.
standard
Yeah.
championship mentality, right? I'm
yeah.
just getting
Why
close enough.
risk it? Yeah.
I'm not about to get in there.
Yeah. Why risk making a mistake or
Unless you're trying
getting
to prove
into a
that.
battle? I mean, I think he should have still tried to pass him, and then that nullifies the 5-second penalty.
Yeah.
In my eyes. So. But,
True. Well,
But
I think we've beat this horse.
Yeah.
Quite dead.
What do you think of all the antics from Vettel afterwards?
I think that he should have not done. I think he's fine to do the switching the first to second place, whatever.
Yeah, that's a
but
little,
the whole not showing up and then just running away for a minute.
Yeah, I think running straight to the stewards.
It's a little Verstappen-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, you didn't even park your car in.
He knew what he was doing.
Thing, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is not. Hold your respect. It's respect. It's a respect thing. Like,
not championship mentality.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
But I mean,
at least I understood the switching the first and second place thing. Totally cool. I thought that was funny and deserved, and all that.
Yeah,
because also it's cool, and I don't care because it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I know.
So I was fine with that, but it was the part where he didn't pull his car to where it was supposed to be purposely.
Yeah.
And then he ran all the way to FIA. I just feel like that was a little childish.
Yeah, I get it.
Temperish.
He's mad. He's upset.
Yeah.
He flew off the handle a little bit, I guess, without like losing his temper or anything.
And for good reason, because he has just not been in the best of forms for the past year.
Not at all this whole year. So
because Hamilton is relentless.
Yeah, I think Hamilton has worn him down, broke him down mentally.
Yeah, he has. And then also that tense moment when they were going back into the wherever they sit after the race before they go out to the podium.
Yeah, that was. I felt bad for the Mercedes. That woman Mercedes went put on the podium. She's just sitting in the corner.
Oh yeah,
and like just awkward, just looking, staring straight at the wall.
Super quiet. It was him and Leclerc. They were super quiet, waiting for Vettel, and it's like, all right, here he comes, and no one was talking, and they cut the sound. I was just like, oh man. And then I didn't know Vettel was gonna just come in and let Hamilton have it, like bump you and this and that. But then, I mean, he understood it wasn't Hamilton's fault.
Yeah, exactly. I think Hamilton says that. He's like, well, it's not your decision to make. Like,
yeah. So, but he did kind of instigate it. He said over the radio, it was unsafe entry.
Yeah.
Hamilton's first words, but he has that, hey, it's a game of chess, bro. Play all your pieces.
Yeah.
So,
no, Ferrari would have done the exact same thing that Mercedes did in this situation. So, I mean, you have to at least challenge it to the FIA so they would make a ruling on it. But
of course. So, I'm glad to see that they were still like cordial, shook hands, and it's like, sorry, bro. And he pulled him up to the top step of the podium and all that. Like, is what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vettel. I mean, if it was Leclerc, I'd be way more upset. I think a lot of people would be more upset. If it was Leclerc, I think they'd be like, you just stripped away his first win after all the ish that he just went through to get, like, oh my God. Yeah, it would have been bad. Damn. And I almost thought Leclerc was going to take second place from Vettel.
Oh yeah, he was getting close. He was within a second.
He was like a couple tenths off, and I was like, that's shady, but I want him to do it.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I mean, that would have made Vettel's reaction like even more. Yeah,
he would be heated. But for me, I would have been like, that's poetic justice because Vettel knocked him out of Q3 in the last race.
Yeah.
So I would have been like, or knocked him out at Q2, right?
Yeah.
In the last race. So I would have been like,
Monaco.
if I was Leclerc, I'd be like, yeah, this is payback.
Yeah.
I'm taking how many points is it from second to third? I'm taking your 3 points.
Oh, 3 points.
Like, I'm taking your 3 points. What you gonna do about it?
Oh man,
so I'd be all over it. I was so hoping he Vettel got third place.
Yeah, I was kind of worried there at the end of the race. I was checking that.
Imagine how much sign flipping he would have had to done if it was like
right. Yeah, he'd be running all over.
He would have had to put third to to Leclerc and Hamilton gets second, he would have playing a game of like matching or whatever you call it. It's like, oh man, this is funny. Sorry,
man.
I'm sorry, Vettel, man. But I'm not your biggest fan, so I can't give you much more than that. I don't think you deserve the penalty, but I think Leclerc should have taken second place from you.
I was rooting for him this race. I thought he had this one for sure.
I was rooting for my boy Ricardo.
Yeah. He didn't look. He waved to those Red Bulls as they drove past him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Driving by.
Well, not Gasly.
Yeah. Sees Max driving right by him. He's like, oh man.
Yeah. Gasly had a bad race. I mean, he finished 8th. He went down 3 places.
Yeah, I think pit stops didn't help him. They kind of had a weird strategy for him.
So let's quickly talk about the rest of them before we wrap up here or get into the burrito bag. But let's just talk about where finishing was. Leclerc came 3rd, Bottas 4th, Verstappen 5th, Ricciardo taking best of the rest, Hulkenberg taking 2nd place best of the rest. So Renault, solid performance.
Yeah.
And then Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll getting his first points of the season in the Force India, doing really well for his home track. Where did he start? He
made it in the Q3, right?
He did.
Yeah. So he had a pretty good race. I mean, that car shows a little bit of power. This is a power track, so.
Wait, he didn't make it into. I don't think he made it into Q3 because he started 17th place. So actually, let me check really quickly. Qualifying. Oh yeah, no, he didn't make it out of Q1.
Wow.
So that's an amazing race then. From
Yeah.
18th all the way up to 9th to the points.
Oh yeah.
That is solid.
I would not expect that from Lance Stroll.
Yeah, nor from a Racing Point in general, but definitely not from Lance Stroll.
No.
So he had a solid result. I mean, touche to him. He had a better showing for his home country than Leclerc did in Monaco.
Yeah. I think that was also, I think some other cars had terrible showings. And
Yeah, well, behind him we had Kvyat, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, Antonio Giovinazzi. It's also the first time that Stroll beat his teammate. Antonio Giovinazzi, Romain Grosjean, who had a bad race because of Magnussen. He started lower in the order than he should have. And then Kimi Räikkönen, George Russell getting in 16th place. Magnussen, Kubica, Albon, and Lando Norris. Albon and Lando Norris both DNF'd. So, which speaking of Magnussen, he had that kind of like, he was fussing about how the car was crap and it's just like, it's a terrible thing. And then Steiner came on and shut him up. He's like, bro, you are the one who crashed into the wall, not us.
Yeah, we were up all night. We were building your car for you.
Yeah, so don't come talking to us about like how crap it is. That was his fault. It's not their fault.
Yeah. Magnussen actually did some backpedaling on his comments on the. He's trying to justify everything. I think I understand. He's frustrated. He thought he would do better. Haas had a terrible weekend.
We all know Magnussen's a douche, so it doesn't matter that he backpedaled. He didn't backpedal anywhere. He's still in the douche category.
I know. I get like a super arrogant vibe from him. Yeah. It doesn't make me want to root for him.
Nah.
And I love Haas, but Roman is definitely
the guy.
Yeah.
Even though he's not that great.
No, he's not.
It's like between Roman and Magnussen, it's like I don't want to root for the D-bag.
Yeah.
So, anyways, shall we get into the burrito bet?
Let's do it.
All right. Why, do you feel good about it?
I do not. I was actually doing some mental math.
Do you remember what you?
I have no clue what I picked or what you picked, but
all right.
I'm like, I think Malik had that guy. So
for race win, you had Leclerc.
Dang.
Yeah, I had my boy Hamilton. I'm lying. I had Bottas.
No. You could have got me there. I would have totally believed you.
All right. For best of the rest, you had Carlos Sainz, and I picked Ricciardo.
Damn.
Oh, wait, no, that's flipped. You picked Ricardo, and I picked Sainz. So you got a point there.
See, dude, you can tell me whatever you want right now.
I'm not that much of a scumbag. And
hell yeah.
First DNF. Wait, get out of here. Who first DNF'd? Oh, it was Lando Norris. Okay.
Yeah, McLaren.
I'm glad, because you picked Toro Rosso.
Oh, dang.
Picked Red Bull. So I thought you still win, but
yeah.
I thought you would have got 2 points.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm overall, I think I have 2 points now.
Now
right?
you have 2 burritos over me, yeah.
And then over you, or I thought 2 points total, right?
You have 2 burritos over me.
Oh, dang.
Like, as far as the burrito bets go. I think we're like, we only didn't do Australia, so I think it's like 4-2.
Okay. Perfect. This is looking great for me.
Yeah.
It's looking like you're going to have to buy me a burrito.
I'm going to give you the hottest sauce I can find on that burrito. It's going to be the challenge.
Bring it on. Dude, I'm a wuss when it comes to hot sauce.
Ghost pepper seasoning all over your burrito.
You know, you can probably just make it a mild sauce, and then I'll be dying anyway, so.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that was the Grand Prix review for Canada. Anything else?
It was a great race. Super exciting to watch.
Yeah, it was a solid weekend.
I'm glad, like, all the drama and actual good racing, and this track was awesome to watch. And it's a fast track, fun track. So I'm glad. I don't know. Monaco always feels like a little bit of a lull, but
yeah,
it was fun to watch. I had a good weekend watching all the races and qualifying.
Same. All right, well, that's it for this episode. Remember to like and subscribe on wherever you listen to your podcast.
Dude, we gotta up our Instagram game.
I know.
It's weak.
I know. I thought your brother was all over that.
We're like Team Williams with our Instagram page. Just coming in last.
I thought your brother was all over it.
Yeah, me too. I gotta give him a phone call.
And since your brother's not all over it, it means you're not all over it because he's your twin, so you're one and the same.
I'm like, dude, you're making me look bad on the podcast, man.
Oh, my bad. Anyways, like and subscribe on wherever you listen to the podcast, Spotify, iTunes. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. And then visit us on social media, even though our page isn't much of anything right now. Give whatever's on there a couple likes. We'll try our best to put some more items on there as we get.
I think we have the Spanish Grand Prix was the last post.
Yeah, as we get better at this. Man. And then reach out to us at startinggridusa@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. And if you have any comments or predictions on the Hamilton-Vettel rivalry or the Hamilton-Bottas rivalry for this season. And, yeah, that's it. That'll be it for today, folks.
Adios.